Hey everybody, it's Reefling here. Most of you on MARSH know me by that. Other people know me by Corey. Anyway, the other day I had this idea to start up a kind of digital tank tour type of video series. And I was wondering where to start, and I figured I'd start with my own, but there was some other stuff that I wanted to get done to it before I actually did a video of it. So I was talking to some people, and I was browsing through the MARSH for sale forum, and I saw this post here. This is from Reeftopia. He's doing $100 frag packs for Easter only. It was $10 a frag for 10 of them. And this was Cody's reply to it after he refused to post pictures. I guess Cody went in here and tried to vouch for him. And this post in and of itself would have been enough to intrigue me. But then what followed was even more intriguing. Everybody was wondering about the size of these colonies, and if any of you know Marsh well enough, if you've done the trade forum stuff, normally things are estimated with conservatism in mind. So if somebody says you're getting a frag or a mini colony, you pretty much upsize it an inch. If someone says a 4-inch colony, you're probably going to see a 5-inch colony. Most people in the club like to over deliver, and that's just something I've noticed over the years. So seeing posts like this only piqued my interest anymore, because not many people on this forum are prone to exaggeration. So at some point in here, Cody said these colonies are so big that he can hug them and not have his hands touch, and that was good enough for me. I decided I had to see it at that point. Cody is probably 6'3" with very long arms, so like that's a pretty big colony. And once I got there, I saw in full force what he was talking about. Now, David was on the board with us for a while, so I do know him personally, but not very well, because he's in Montgomery, Texas, which is basically the other side of the world from where I live on the south side. It's literally an hour and a half or 2-hour drive. It's like 70 miles, even though we're in the same metroplex. So anyway, once I arrived to his place, it really did live up to the hype. This is the main tank here, and you can see corals everywhere. They're huge colonies. I believe that one in the front there is a purple slimer. It looks like a standard 125 gallon with nice big colonies. But the problem is this tank is 10 feet long. So the tank is so big it makes the corals look smaller than they really are. I mean, some of these are literally 2 and 3 feet wide. So Cody not being able to hug them makes perfect sense. That green slimer in the back is enormous. I mean, that thing there, I've got pictures of it. There's a little short video of it now. You can see how big this thing is. You'll see to the left there's those dead branches with algae on them. That's the rest of it. I originally thought this was 2 separate colonies because you can see the start of the other half over there on the right hand side, but it really is a continuous all the way across left to right. That was one entire colony. Keep in mind, he was doing the frag packs here, and he's already had about 20 people come through. So what's left here is after approximately 200 frags were taken out of it. There's a couple other tanks around the area. And this right here is another tank of his. You can see the gigantic Elegans Coral in the front there. This has more of a softy theme, but you'll still see a couple stonies in there. Then here is the third of 4 tanks. It's got a bit of a mixed reef situation in it. And then the final tank, he has this really wild looking filefish. I don't believe he has any zoanthids to be found because of all the angelfish and the different stuff he has. It's just not compatible with them. But there are quite a few different varieties of coral. You just don't see many polyps, if any. Tons of SPS, some LPS. You'll see a couple anemones here and there. Very interesting fish, stuff you won't typically find in a store. I believe that the entire system volume is 2,000 or 3,000 gallons. In fact, while he was there, he told me about a calcium dip that he had, and right in front of my face, he took an entire bottle of Kent calcium supplements, which are the big jugs like this. So literally those big jugs on the ground. I guess they're half a gallon or 2 quarts. But he literally opened one of those up and just upended the thing into the main SPS tank and just dumped calcium everywhere. Ripples in the water throughout the entire tank, and in about 30 seconds it was all over. But he turned around and he said, "Who else do you know that can do that?" But that just goes to show the sheer water volume that he's dealing with here. Tons of colonies. You'll see most of his colonies are duplicates, if not in one tank in the other. Most of the time he'll take a frag and start it somewhere else in another tank, and the redundancies helped him to maintain some of his stuff. Because of his calcium dip, it went down to 200 is what he was saying. He does have some issues with a couple corals not being too happy right now, and there is some bryopsis issues. But he's ordered those antibiotic pills for it, and they should be, as of the time of this video, they were only dosed on like day 2 or so, and I've heard back from him since then saying it's pretty much gone. So he could kind of see a noticeable difference. So some of the algae grazers that were really dependent on algae, like I think there was a starfish, looked like a purple linkia starfish or something like that. He was trying to rehome just because he didn't want it to run out of food and stuff. But in this entire stock plan, I mean, I believe there were about 4 more fish that he wanted to get. And his quarantine, I believe, was a 55-gallon just bare bottom tank, and he still has that around until he finishes his list. And I believe there were 4 or 5 more fish he wanted to get. I forget which ones they all were. But with that, I'll go ahead and leave you guys with some tank shots, and I'll see you for the next video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. Have a good day.